Good day, Kabibal, and welcome to our Learn at Home series. For the discussion this evening, our topic will be teachers as parents and parents are as teachers. Before we begin, take note of the following reminders. Make sure you register to the webinar to have your e-certificate of participation. Visit certificate.bibalgroup.com to generate your proof of attendance. Place your questions in the comment box allotted during the session, and they will be addressed by a speaker later on. Share the video using hashtag LearnAs1PH as our official hashtag to our Bibal webinars. Experience learning, Kabibal. And now to proceed with our webinar this evening, it is my pleasure to introduce to you our distinguished speaker. Dr. Brother Roderick M. Aguirre is a consultant and evaluator of K-12 Philippine Basic Education Curriculum and academic consultant for Sisters of Mary Philippines. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Brother Roderick M. Aguirre.
Hello.
Yes, Bob Roderick.
Hi, good evening. I'm on, right?
Yes, Paul. Yes, Paul.
Okay. So good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for tuning in with Fitball's LAH. And this is all about, again, the series of trainings for the whole month of October is to give credit and to put our teachers at the most important level of our lives, acknowledging their pivotal role as an educator of our students, and especially right now that we're going through lots of changes brought about pandemic. And this topic this evening is rather up to date, I would say, to the point that a lot of parents are now taking in the roles as educators as well. And we need to understand what are those things that our parents need to take in so that they can support their students, their children in the learning process. And at the same time, what are those things that teachers need to take in so that they would become, they would also be able to take care of their children as parents, because we know that a lot of teachers are not just teachers, but they have other roles, so that when they go back home, they also are parents. But will be more of a short talk, and let's just call this as, having a tea with Brother Ricky in the evening, and it's a 30 minutes. And before I start, I would like to give a shout out to the following people who, have asked me to do this, and they're already tuning in right now. I would like to give a shout out to Ma'am Algie Arugue Bonite from City Division sa Antipolo, and to Maricel Bo Castilla from Albay Bicol, teachers of the Sisters of Mary Schools Philippines, Biga Campus, Atlas Campus, Talisay Campus, Minganilla Campus, and to my classmates from the Structure of English class with Dr. Rosalina Bumate Cruz, Clara Vanessa Di Castro, hi, Sheila Ann Cimaraan, April Vergara 1, Burns Therenel, this is a real unusual family name that's like foreign sounding, and Jonlyn Gonza. Good evening, classmates, good evening, teachers, good evening, parents. And let's begin by sharing my PowerPoint presentation with you. Just, six slides for tonight. So my topic for this evening is about teachers as parents and parents as teachers. And these are the dual roles that are now, that teachers and parents are taking on in the new way of delivering our learning materials to our students. And let's begin with understanding who the good parents are. Let's not discuss here who the bad parents are, but let's just be positive about things and think about these are the things that a good parent should do. And if there are some indicators that I have not taken in yet as one of my responsibilities, as one of my core responsibilities as a good parent, then I have to do something about that. Because the idea of being able to help our children is having indicators, understanding what it takes to be a good parent, not just a parent, but what it takes to be good parents. I got this research from UNICEF and from United Nations about the 8 basic indicators of a good parent or parents. When we say parents, we're not only talking about the mother, we're not only talking about the biological mother and biological father, we're also taking into consideration here the primary caregivers, like the uncles and the aunts, the grandparents, and all other adults that may take in the role as parents to children. According to United Nations UNICEF, these 8 indicators make parents or primary caregivers good at their responsibilities. And the topmost of this indicator would be are patient. You are a good parent if you are patient, because taking care of children is really a very difficult task. And since our children are going through stages in life, we cannot expect them to be adults immediately. And that when we wake up in the morning, hopefully they already are working and professional so that they can, be individuals and can be independent. But alas, it would take perhaps more than 2 decades for our kids, for our children to be fully independent and contributing members of society. And as parents, and whether we like it or not, even if they become professionals, our role as parents never ceases. Our role as a parent never ends. It's until we die, and it's something we need to accept. And therefore, patience is a virtue that we need to take in and hone. And because no matter how silly our kids are, and no matter how nonsensical their actions and their thoughts and their arguments are, we as parents need to understand where they come from, and whatever the experience are going through right now, like the use of technology, a lot of digital technology, this games that they use, but we need to be patient with them, because development is over time. Next is multitask. We know that we are parents, but we have responsibilities as employees, as members of society. And it's not just being a mother, not just being a father, but also being a mother, being a son and daughter to your parents. These are responsibilities on top of other responsibilities. And therefore, as parents, we need to be multitaskers. It's not the idea that we have to be jack of all trades, master of none. Multitasking, according to United Nations, is someone that we have mastered because we have been doing it for quite some time, and we get to realize that there are better ways to do it. And by doing this, we get to consult and talk to other parents how we do things and how the other parents do well with taking care of their children and functioning as professionals. And by collaborating and by having friends to talk with, experiences as a parent, as an individual, we get to realize that we have other people to ask, to seek advice, and we are not alone with this responsibility as parent. And I tell you, being a parent is really a difficult task, and we are one with you guys out there. Next would be encourage and inspire. So our lives as individuals, as parents, is not just being a parent, but we must be the model of what good behavior should be, of what of an individual who pursue their dreams. And if our children see us as someone who's always on the go, chasing our dreams and achieving our dreams, and then therefore our kids would also be like that. But if they see their parents are passive, they just live every day just to survive, then do you expect our kids, your children, to be better than you guys, or to learn outside from what they see in the family? According to research again by Stanford University and Columbia University, they found out that the goals of children, the basis of the core influence of every children's dreams come from their family. And if the family does not provide our students encouragement and inspiration, do you think teachers would do a better job at it? Teachers come in because to support whatever dreams our students have, their aspirations, which starts at home. But if they come to school without any aspiration, they become one of those students who are passive, who are difficult to teach. So let us be good parents by encouraging and inspiring our students. Okay, parents? Next would be our problem solvers. Parents need to think of solutions and not linger on problems. Alas, our culture in the Philippines is that adults talk more about the problem than talking more about solution. We linger so much on the problem to the point that because by talking so much about the problem it becomes so unsurmountable and too difficult to handle, so that we just I think by tomorrow the problem will go away. No, parents must always solve problems because we want our kids to be such that they had to face the problems head on. And even if they sleep overnight and they do not face the problem, the next day the problem will still be there and no one's gonna take care of that. By giving our kids responsibilities they need to take care of every day, that makes them problem solvers. So parents out there, do not baby your kids. Give them responsibilities as early childhood, and as they grow older, they become taking in responsibilities, thinking of ways how to be creative and be effective and efficient with their responsibilities will make them good problem solvers. Okay. But also parents need to be leaders and followers. And what I like about United Nations UNICEF indicators of a good parent is that they indicated followers. Research showed that parents need to lead and model to our kids the values and the virtues that we want our kids to acquire, but we should also show to the kids that we also should follow certain rules of society. We should also follow certain rules of certain situation. So therefore, Being a leader is situational. And at times, in a situation like you are in a party or you go to the mall, you are supposed to adjust to other people. So it's not just being always right, but it's also being kind. So that means the idea of being leader is knowing what's right. But being a follower also be knowing being kind to other people, that sometimes we have to accommodate the needs of other people because we are in a situation where we are not the only ones who should be taken care of. All right, I like about the idea of United Nations being considerate of other people, and I call that spirituality. And I hope a lot of parents are thinking about teaching kids that to adjust to people, to adjust to surroundings, to adjust situations. Because if we don't teach our kids that way, um, kids will be thinking that the society owes them, that they will always be right, and that the teachers should always take care of their needs, and they should always be on the top list of the priorities of society, most especially by teachers. All right. Next would be dependable. To Eric Erickson, the first thing that kids would acquire in their social conflict and development would be trust and hope. Therefore, for kids to learn trust, they need to know that their parents are dependable in terms of providing them with the basic needs. And not just the basic needs like shelter, food, but also the love, emotion. Okay, the emotional development, the support to their emotional development, because kids are not born with a language. And it's difficult to talk to kids because of a different language. And there's what we call a language gap because of the generation gap. Hence, sometimes parents have difficulty understanding the kind of language that kids are using right now, but parents need to understand where their kids are coming from and meet them halfway. And that's being dependable too. Dependable is also making kids, our children, realize that we are there for them no matter what happens to them and no matter what they are going through right now. And again, realize that sometimes kids do not realize that we love them because they see the anger, but they do not see the care. So kung papakita po tayo ng care sa mga bata po natin, sabihin po natin ng tama with love. Kasi kung pinagalitan natin ng bata, ang nakikita ng bata ay yung hate at yung anger, not the concern. So the idea of being dependable here is trying to control our emotions and seeing that alam ko may ginawa akong mali, pero gusto kong marinig kung ano ang ginawa mo para maintindihan ko at maintindihan natin dalawa kung paano tayo uusad sa sitwasyon na ito. That's being dependable. Being dependable as a parent does not necessarily mean that you're always right. Sometimes our kids are right. I know that it's a slap to our faces as parents that kids may be right, but we have to acknowledge that fact too. Next would be have a sense of humor. Kids love parents who have who they can laugh with. Okay, they sit down together, watch television, watch a movie, and laugh together, and make things light. And they feel that with parents who have humor, they feel like I would rather stay with my parents because I'm having a good time than having with my friends. But parents who do not have sense of humor, kids tend to choose their friends over their parents. Take note of that. That's not from me. That's from the research of United Nations. And that's a good research that they got from respondents all over the world and different cultures. See? And finally, indicator of a good parent is that they are well disciplined. How can we teach kids to be disciplined when parents are not disciplined themselves? And therefore, the eighth indicator of being a good parent is that we are disciplined. We know our schedule every day. It may sound boring, but being structured and being disciplined is not being boring, it's being right. For some people who are not disciplined, people who are disciplined in their eyes are boring. But in reality, those who do not have discipline, do not have structure in life, are people who need help. All right, now let's look at the indicators provided for us by United Nations as to who are the good teachers. Now, number one indicator as a good teacher is that we are strong communicators. Educators need to communicate clearly to students and to parents what is expected of them as students and what they need to learn from the lesson and from the curriculum all throughout the year. It has to be directly communicated to the students. It cannot be a trial and error. All right, and teachers shouldn't be shy. They need to talk, and they need to be leaders in the education field or field of education, so that they communicate what they feel. If they think this is right, they need to stand their ground. All right. Second is they listen well. Even if you are a good communicator, it does not give you the right to always talk all the time. Being able to communicate is also knowing that we have to listen to other people, listen to other teachers, listen to our students, listen to parents. That's the idea of being a good teacher, because even if we are a good communicator, but if you're not able to listen well to the ideas and arguments of other people, then we will end up arguing, not compromising. Third indicator is that focus on collaboration. According to United Nations, again, a good teacher collaborates with other teachers and learn from other teachers' experiences, and they exchange ideas of what's good, of what they have done good, efficiently, and effectively in the previous year or currently, so that what they have done well is now shared to other teachers. Now, for those teachers who do not accept the ideas of other teachers, then that's their problem. But the idea of their collaboration is that you as a teacher, you are more than willing to share what you have done well to other teachers. That alone makes you a good teacher, but not, may mga teacher kasi nagsasabi, epal kasi yung teacher na yan, share ng share, kaya naman namin gawin. That's okay. If you already know and you've been doing this, that means it's an indicator that we are on the same plane. We are both good teachers. Hindi to payabangan, hindi to pagalingan. We should be one in providing our students with quality education. Next, we are adaptable. Sometimes, more often than not, the things that we have planned for our students for that day or for that week sometimes should be revised right there and then, because the core of learning is incidental learning. There would be other cases that we need to address certain issues of students, and we can now move on if we're not able to address these questions of our students. No matter how irrelevant we think the questions are, still, if it lingers in the minds of our students, then it would probably hinder them, would be a barrier for them to understand the lesson. Therefore, we need to adjust, okay? It's not how fast we teach the lesson, it is how we adapt to the situation of our students, to the context of our students, so that we provide them with mastery and quality education, not quantity. Next, we are engaging, all right? Teachers, a good teacher needs to engage their students, to engage other people by the use of their body language, by the use of their voice, by the use of their facial expression, by the use of their hands. They're able to engage their students. Also, in this indicator, engaging students does not only talk about the body language or the interest or the motivation of the teacher, but also the life of the teacher. That the life of the teacher is also engaging to the students. We become a model of what we are trying our students to become. So if you want our students to become good communicators, then language teachers should also be good communicators. If we want our students to be good mathematicians, then our mathematics should also be good mathematicians. We cannot have. This is the idea of engaging. I'm trying to go fast because I don't have enough time. 7:17, I only have about less than 15 minutes. Okay, our patient, kind of the same with the parents. We have a good teacher needs to understand that learning does not happen right here, right now. It could probably take hours, days, weeks, months, even years. And even if we have given our input, given them our lesson, our instruction this year, there's a possibility that maturity comes with growth, and therefore students will manifest the change of behavior later on in life. So we have to be patient, and we need to be understanding of the different paces of our students. Not all students have the same pace, so patience is a virtue indeed. The seventh good indicator for a good teacher would be value real world learning. A good teacher is someone who would help students understand the lesson, but will go beyond classroom situation, would use situations, would allow students to see that what they are learning inside the classroom, what they are learning right now in this module or online teaching, are something that they need to function every day. And by that, students see the relevance of going online every day, opening the module or listening to the teacher. They are motivated because what they hear and what they experience from what the teacher prepared for them is something that is really important for them to do their task every day. And finally, the last indicator for a good teacher is are lifelong learners. Good teachers are those who innovate themselves every day, who innovate themselves, well, probably not every day, but eventually could be like after a year, we go back to what we have done the whole year and think of things that we have done good and then realize I could have done better. And that's what we're going to do for the next year or this year. And I think what's happening right now with the pandemic, I think all of us are now learning a lot of things, learning new ways like the blended learning approach and doing online and using all the gadgets that we thought would be something against learning. But now we are trying our best to use these applications and these digital technologies to help us in delivering learning, quality learning to our students while learning from home. So basically, we are lifelong learners. Now, out of these eight indicators, how many indicators have you satisfied? All right. Now, let's now juxtapose. Sorry, at the other room, we have dogs. So this is, one of the many problems with online. So I think my dog is trying to explain that, yeah, that's true. So let's now juxtapose the roles of the teacher and the roles of the parents. And this I would like to say that let's start with the roles of the parents. Parents, the primary roles. So these are the roles, the basic roles, the fundamental roles, the basic roles and responsibilities of parents, okay? And beyond that, that's something that an add-on responsibilities, but these are the basic ones. Number one would be protect children from harm and provide them with their basic needs. Parents would always protect their kids and they don't want someone shouting at their kids or raising a hand at their kids. And that's why this is the reason why a lot of parents complain when their kid complain against teachers about teachers' actions to their children. When their children tell them stories about, Nay, kasi si teacher ay sinigawan ako. So masakit sa mga magulang yun. Innate kasi nila yun na protektahan ang kanilang magulang. Kaya tayo mga teacher, intindihin po natin na huwag po tayo magsasabi na ayan na naman ng mga magulang, reklamo na, puro sila reklamo. Hindi mawawala sa mga magulang ang magreklamo kasi innate yan. Talagang magrereklamo at magrereklamo ang mga magulang kasi nga that's their innate responsibility and their basic responsibility to protect your children. Kahit yung mga hayop dyan, mga lowest form of animals, they have this basic instinct to protect their offsprings. Ano pa kaya mga tao? Alright, so huwag tayong magreklamo. So what I'm trying to deal here as parents, as teachers, and teachers as parents, that as teachers, let's understand the parents. Why? Because we are parents too. All right? Huwag natin na-separate ang idea natin that when we are teachers, we are just teachers. No, we are teachers and parents at the same time. Next, parents' innate responsibility to support the development of children. Well, not all parents know about this. They need to know the developmental stages, the developmental milestones that children go through. And I think this is one of the thrust of United Nations to help parents become good parents because they need support, especially the social, emotional development of children. Most parents only see the first responsibility to protect and provide them with their basic needs as their sole responsibility, but have forgotten to support development of children. Kasi ang pinaka-core ng virtues po ay responsibility and discipline and love and respect. All of this start from home. And if this virtues and values are not taken care of by the parents, which is basically to support the development of children, ang laki ng problema ng lipunan, ang laking problema ang kinakaharap ng teacher. So, dapat kausapin natin ang mga magulang. Bakit? Trabaho po nila yon, responsibility. And now, I think parents are now realizing na ang hirap pala maging teacher. Di ba? Kasi nga, nakikita ko ngayon na iba pala ang ugali ng anak ko pag nag-aaral. Iba pala ang short ng attention span ng mga anak ko. Kung anak mo ay 3, yung teacher po, ilan po ang estudyante niya sa klase. Just imagine how many students will the teacher take care of in terms of the social and emotional development of kids. And this is something that I'd like to emphasize. I hope that parents right now are now respecting even more our teachers, because they are not just teachers, but also taking care of the development of their children. Okay. The third innate and basic responsibility of parents would be provide safety, supervision, and control. That means provide an environment that would help students go through other developmental milestones, but still it should be safe. And tinatawag po natin dito ay making sure that the environment is safe for students to explore. Hindi pwedeng i-stop natin ang exploration ng mga bata. Learning happens through exploration and by investigating and being with situations and being with environment. And therefore, parents cannot stop and should not stop their kids from exploring. And there's also one of the responsibilities of teachers, only that the basic of providing safe supervision and control ay nasa bahay. So ang mga bata na walang study habits, yan po ay nagsimula sa bahay na walang study habits. Bakit? Hindi nabigyan ng proper supervision and control sa bahay. Ang mga magulang dapat ang unang nagsasabi kung ano ang tama, ano at ang mali, ano ang dapat, ano ang hindi dapat gawin. Hindi si teacher. Okay? Next, of course, provide medical care. Kung may sakit ng anak, trabaho ng nanay, talaga na kailangan niyang kahit kinagat lang lamok yan, talagang doktor agad. Okay? So, ganun innate na mga magulang pa may nangyari sa anak. And finally, provide quality education. I think wala namang magulang sa mundong ito na ayaw mabigyan ng magandang kinabukasan ng mga anak nila. Even the families or the parents coming from the poorest of the poor, they have this wish and ambition for the kids. Probably of the problems with society, they're not able to pursue those dreams for the kids. Nonetheless, it's one of those innate and basic roles of parents to provide quality education. Now, here's the question though. Itong lahat pa ng mga basic roles of the parents ay meron ng mga teachers. Tingnan natin. Sa teachers naman po ay, according to United Nations again, is the primary role of the teacher to provide children with what they ought to learn. Alam po natin na mayroong gustong aralin ng mga bata. Pero ang mga teacher ang nakakaalam kung ano ang dapat ibigay sa mga bata. Hindi si magulang, unless sa magulang pa ay mga educators. Pero si teacher ang nakakaalam ano ang tamang pagkakasunod-sunod ng mga gawain. Ano ang tamang pagkakasunod-sunod ng mga topics ng mga learning competencies na dapat itong maturo sa grade 1, sa first quarter, and so on and so forth. Sila ang eksperto ng tamang pagkakasunod-sunod ng mga learning competencies and standards so that students go through the gradual increase of responsibility and introduction to a higher form of skills, starting with the basic skills though. All right? So, the task of, kung ang mga magulang ay binibigay kung anong pangangailangan ng mga bata, si teacher naman kung ano ang thought na dapat matutunan ng mga bata. Si mga magulang, pwedeng i-take care ang basic needs tapos yung mga wants, needs and wants. Si teacher kasi talaga, kailangan talaga yung needs the teacher, ng mga bata. Next will be guide learners towards holistic learning. Sila teacher po collaborates with other teachers to make sure that they create a holistic learning experience for students, okay, in a particular grade level. So nung tutulungan po sila, parehas po yan sa responsibilidad ng mga magulang. Ang nanay at tatay, ang mga lolo't lola, nung tutulungan po sila para matulungan ang pagpapalaki ng mga anak. Kaya lang problema po in both teachers and students is that minsan nagkakaiba po ng filosofiya. Kagaya po sa teachers po, iba-iba ang filosofiya ng mga teachers, pero they have to compromise and come up with a common ground for them to provide kids children with holistic learning. But the parents, it should be like that too. So parents as teachers, you know that you're supposed to provide your kids with basic virtues and values, and therefore, dapat consistent ang exposure. Hindi pwedeng itong sinasabi ni nanay, iba naman pinapakita ni tatay. Or itong sinasabi ng tatay at saka nanay, iba naman pinapakita ng lolo't lola. So consistency. If education requires teachers to be consistent with their efforts in providing students holistic education, therefore parents should also be like that, because parents are also educators. Next, assess objectively quality of learning in children. Ito yung mga teachers na sinasabi na gustong-gusto niyang tulungan ang bata para pumasa. Pero kailangan malaman ng bata na kailangan niyang mag-effort. Okay? Ito yung hindi nakikita ng mga magulang na masyado kayo how do you call that? So strict and so firm for my children. Hindi kayo mag-adjust. Kasi tinuturo ko ng mga teachers is that students should realize that their learning is their responsibility. The job of a teacher is to facilitate and guide them throughout their learning. But it is the responsibility of the students to learn. Kaya kayong mga magulang na nasa bahay, na pag mayroong ginagawang bata at mayroong mga modules at kayo nagsasagot, hindi nyo tinuturuan ng bata na maging independent, na maging lifelong learners. You are teaching them to be lazy, to be dependent on you. Sabi ng mga magulang, kasi nga nakikita kong nahihirapan po sila. I know, nakikita nyo may nahirapan ng mga bata, but sometimes we need to be cruel to be nice. Meaning kailangan mo silang iwanan, hayaan, na gawin muna at magkamali para matuto po sila. Huwag naman yung masasaktan sila, we're talking about learning here, hindi yung pagsagasa, mga ganun, mga safety rules ng environment. Okay, we're talking about here learning. Next, plans and organizes learning situations for children. Sila po ang nagawa ng mga materyales and so on. It's appropriate for kids. Okay, kaya masakit po sa mga teacher na sinasabihan ng mga magulang na walang ginagawa ang mga teacher, mga parents. Ngayon kayo po ay nakikita nyo, hands-on kayo sa mga bata. Nakita nyo na ang hirap pala magturo, ha? Pero anak nyo lang hawak nyo, ha? Pero ang mga teachers ng mga anak ninyo, maraming sudyante na iba't ibang ugali ang hawak. Kaya ang pagpaplano to organize nila ng mga learning ng mga bata accommodates this diversity of personalities and attitudes and capabilities and potentials of their kids. Tapos kung magreklamo kayo, wagas. And finally, provides intervention and remediation to children who lags behind. Nagbibigay pa sila ng additional planning for the students, for kids who are lagging behind. And sometimes it is misinterpreted by students, by teachers, by parents, misinterpreted by parents na pinapahirapan ng anak, dinadagan ng maraming assignment, dinadagan ng maraming homework. That is not to make our kids suffer, but it's to help our kids prosper, not suffer. All right? Now, ito po ang malaking challenge natin ngayon, this talk. Teachers can easily assume the responsibilities of the parents. They can provide, because they are parents too. They can provide medical care, provide quality education, and then provide safety supervision. But if the parents are not educators, they have a huge responsibility right now to approximate these responsibilities from the teachers. Hirap na nga sila sa kanilang responsibility bilang magulang. Dadagdagan po natin sila. So the challenge here right now is not teachers as parents, but how do we make parents become like teachers? So my challenge for this evening for you guys out there, so it's 7:32. Challenge na, last na po. My challenge for you, Ryan, this is the shortest and the fastest webinar I've given in my entire life, and it's a huge task for me, and it's the first time for this month, and I think I'm able to deliver it on time. But so here's my challenge now: how to make parents educators as well. So my challenge to Department of Education, to private schools, institutions out there, to all schools in the Philippines, be it elementary or high school or junior high school, senior high school, is that how do we involve the parents, but not just involving them, but also providing them with the basic responsibilities that I have just mentioned, about basic responsibilities of the parents, of the teachers, so that the parents can also take on the responsibility as facilitators of learning of their children while their children are learning at home. So baka nakalimutan po natin mga schools na magbigay po ng orientation. Pero hindi lang po orientation isang beses, but also support and training to the parents. How can they take care, support the learning of their students? Kasi marami pa akong nakita sa feed sa Facebook, sa TikTok, sa Twitter, na mga pictures na ina-upload na ang mga sumasagot ng mga modules ay mga magulang. Nako, hindi po yan ang tama. Opo, that's the perspective of parents. But you need, on the perspective of learning of your kids at home, you need to think of the perspective as an educator, not as a parent. Okay? So, kailangan turuan natin mga magulang na ganyan. Now, another challenge would be how to make society and all its members see and value the pivotal role of educators in the lives of everyone and not just the children. What's happening right now with the Philippines, well, all over the world, is also an eye-opener and hopefully a huge realization to all members of society of the role of the teachers and the efforts of all teachers to deliver quality education to our students. I think the profession, the teacher's profession or profession, the teachers, that profession, our profession has been taken for granted by our society, has been looked down by society that is not so important. But this time, realize, parents out there and hopefully society realize that educators really are the catalyst of change, of whatever change we want to happen in our society by providing quality education to our students. So this is my topic about, again, the challenge is not making teachers parents, but making teachers. My challenge here is not making teachers parents. They can put on the role of being a teacher, of being a parent. But the biggest challenge here is to make parents put on the role of educators. With that, thank you very much. We don't have questions, I suppose, for the LAH. And Michelle, thank you very much for tuning in.
Thank you so much, Brother Ricky. So of course, we don't have any questions from our viewers for tonight po. So, last reminders po. Baka po meron pa po kayo.
All right. Reminders would be definitely is that it is very important for educators to orient parents, but not just orient, but give assistance to parents to the use of modules. So, importante po na pag nagbigay po tayo or nag-suggest tayo ng modules sa mga bata, ay yung mga modules po ay merong parents guides at saka teachers guides. So I'm hoping that there will be materials. I would like to promote the modules of Vibal kasi ang Vibal po, meron po kaming modules, ang aming modules po for students ay meron pa kaming guide for parents and guide for teachers. Before, ang binibigay lang po natin ay guide for teachers. Teachers guide ang tawag doon. But this time, there's another element in the learning materials, like the modules, that should be taken care of by our schools. That would be the teacher's guide. So please visit our website and explore our modules and look at how it was designed to educate parents to become educators. Thanks, Michelle.
There we have it. In behalf of Vibal Group Incorporated, I would like to thank you, Brother Ricky, for your time you spent with us this evening. Thank you for this insightful and inspiring learning session. It is truly an honor to have you with us tonight, Brother Ricky. And to all our Vibal viewers, all thanks to you for your continuous patronage to our daily learning session. We encourage you to subscribe and watch on our official Vibal Facebook page and YouTube channel. Muli maraming salamat and happy weekend, everyone. Goodbye.
Good evening. Bye-bye.